Shut up. Right. So, I'm going to put on some Sam Vaknin with this, I think. I always forget where it is. It's in options. Oh shit, I've got to remember that as well. This. I've got no, oh look, I've got 14 experience. And I'm going to put them all, pretty much all of them on this. I'm going to put one on there. I've got 5 and 6 of them, so I'm just going to go with that, and then I'm just going to put them all on here, I reckon. And this time, Curia, I'm going to get you. I'm going to focus on it, and I'm going to get you this time. I'm going to get past this bloody elf. So here we go. This is Sam Vaknin's video from today, and it's a humdinger. I only got halfway through, so I thought I'd watch the rest of it now.
Vaknin, you blunker. Look it up. If the narcissist is truly an absence, if there's nobody there, if there's no core identity, no self, no ego, if it's just one huge void, an emptiness, a black hole, who is doing the talking? Who is doing the acting? Who is doing the analyzing? Who is throwing the garbage? The trash. Okay, Shoshanim, I'm here to answer all these questions.
God bless
and
you.
The answer is
God bless you.
A program. You do not need self-awareness or consciousness or a soul or a self or an ego or any of these things in order to act in ways which appear to be intelligent and sentient. Just look at your smartphone. It performs many functions. Just look at artificial intelligence. It can deceive you into believing that you're talking to a human being.
Don't worry, I got you on this.
Right.
You need a lifetime ISA, it's the fastest way to...
Sure.
And yet no one would claim that artificial intelligence is possessed of a self, or that your smartphone has an ego, except of course if it is an iPhone. No one would say this, because these are not relevant to performance, to executive functions. So an entity can perform a multiplicity of functions,
Whatever.
can even act in ways which would pass the Turing test. In other words, in ways which would convince you that this entity is conscious, sentient, intelligent, and even human, when actually it is not. So the narcissist is a program. It's a code. It's like coding, you know? It's like a software, piece of software, a computer program. And it runs on the computer that is the brain. And so the narcissist is able to perfectly mimic and simulate a human being. That does not make the narcissist a human being, a true one, the echt. The narcissist
This
is
hit home to me
ersatz
today,
human being.
this video, I must say.
Now, when you don't have empathy, when you don't have access to positive emotions, when you're unable to tell the difference between external and internal, when you perceive other people as avatars, introjects, not real, extensions, figments of your imagination, elements, internal objects in your mind, you're not human in most senses of the word.
Shit.
You're a good, you engage in good mimicry. You mimic a human being very well, but it doesn't make you a human being. In the future, 50 years from now, we're going to have robots, androids, who would be utterly indistinguishable from human beings. Watch the movie Blade Runner, the first one. Utterly indistinguishable.
Yes, the first one.
These androids would not qualify as human beings.
Oh.
They may constitute a different species. They may even possess real intelligence. And they may even develop consciousness of some kind. But no one would ever say that they're human beings. And people react when they're in the presence of a superb, impeccable
this
simulation
is Fiber
of a human
Twig.
being. They react with extreme, acute
This is Fiber Twig and Sam Vaknin. Today, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to beat Huey, the musical elf. It's very hard, and I always get distracted and I forget how to do the hearts. So today I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do it. I get past this bloody level, and I'm listening to some Sam Vaknin while I'm doing it. It's very pertinent for something. I had a bit of a epiphany moment with this video today, and I'm just watching it. I only got like halfway through it, and I'm going to watch the rest of it now while I do my fiber twigging. So how are you anyway?
comfort. This is known as the uncanny valley reaction, and I've dealt with it in multiple videos. But how does the narcissist succeed to mislead you to this extent? How does this programmed simulation succeed to convince you that it is not a simulation, that it is not a program, that there's a real human being there, a real person?
Advert Central, man.
What are the techniques behind this success? What are the sources of this ability to pull the wool over your eye, to kind of deceive you or mislead you or direct you into beliefs that are counterfactual? They're not factual, that defy reality. In short, how the narcissist induces in you a state of delusion, or even I would say hallucination, almost driving you, clinically speaking, into psychosis. When you're confronted with the narcissist, gradually you begin to come to believe that the narcissist is a human being, a flawed human being, a problematic human being, a dysfunctional human being, an obnoxious one, but a human being all the same. This is an amazing sleight of hand. It's an amazing piece of magic. Because a narcissist is not a human being and doesn't have the prerequisites, the minimum prerequisites, to pass any test as a human being. I'm not talking about intelligence, because intelligence is not limited to human beings. Let it be clear. executive capacity is not limited to human being. The ability to decide and to act upon one's decisions is not limited to human beings. These are all common to machinery, to human beings, to other species, and so on and so forth. This is not what constitutes human beings. This is not what makes human beings human. And yet the narcissist succeeds to deceive the vast majority of people. How does he do that?
Some are very, very good at it as
Number
well.
one, he triggers in you introjects. Using a process known as entraining, the narcissist synchronizes his mind with yours using verbal cues. It could be verbal abuse, for example. The repetition of certain sentences and statements and words in precise combinations synchronizes the brainwaves of the narcissist with yours. And this is not a metaphor. I'm talking about reality. This phenomenon is well recognized in neuroscience.
I
It's called entraining.
experienced this week.
So then your brain and his brain become one. And he's able to tap into your brain and activate within your mind introjects, voices. And having triggered these introjects, having activated these voices, the narcissist becomes identified with them. You misidentify the narcissist with introjects that he had triggered. In addition to that, the narcissist installs in your mind his own introject, his own voice, which usually accompanies you for the rest of your days, unless you seek treatment and help. So at some point, these voices inside your head, these introjects, they acquire a life of their own. They're felt as real and even as external. The narcissist's ability to trigger in you internal processes, which are highly dynamic and highly energetic, makes him feel real to you, renders him, this ability renders him real. So the first impediment is down. Now you have reached a conclusion that the narcissist is a real person, or at the very least, a real organism of some kind, a real entity. The reality of the narcissist is substantiated by the impact that the narcissist has on your mind. You say to yourself, had the narcissist not existed in a meaningful way, he would have never had this impact on me. But that's of course nonsense, because artificial intelligence programs can have an impact on you.
This bit here,
Machines, robots, and so on can have an impact on you. Sex dolls can have an impact on you.
This bit.
It is very natural disasters. Nature itself can have an impact on you.
Absolutely mind-blowing.
Everything, animate and inanimate, your pets, your dog, your cat, even Netflix can have an impact on you.
Even Curie the Musical
The
Elf.
fact that something has an impact on your mind doesn't make
Absolutely
it either real
mind-blowing.
or human. At least not in the tangible sense, and not in the philosophical sense. So,
Unbelievable.
that the narcissist has an impact on you
Puts
simply
everything
means
to a new light.
that his program is well written, well executed, well compiled, and glitch and bug free in this sense. Narcissist is
The finest, the absolute
and he
finest,
preys
finest.
on your mind. That's his raw material, that's his food, that's his prey. You know, I've seen a movie, I don't remember which, where the predator said, the predator was killing people, and he said, I like to play with my food before I eat it. That's a narcissist. Now, second reason, you mistake the narcissist for a real entity, for a human being. The narcissist enters your mind, as I said, and then he assembles on the fly elements from your mind and from your psyche. He recombines you. He reorganizes the furniture inside your living room, your mental living room. He recreates your psychology. And it is so kaleidoscopic, so improvised and extemporaneous, so unpredictable,
So fucking
so
slow.
disturbing.
Discover even more savings in the Oak Furnitureland Big Weekend, including all of these.
That you begin to surrender to this external locus of control. The longer the narcissist plays around with the elements and figments and ingredients and components of your mind, the more familiar it feels. You know, familiar, like in demonology and black magic and so on and so forth. He becomes your familiar. And he becomes familiar.
Oh, meow meow.
This is inside your mind all the time.
Yeah, take notes. This
Playing
one.
around, rearranging.
Meow meow. This one is very pertinent. This one is very on topic. This one is on topic. Yes, it is. It is a big word. It is a big word. Yeah, he's done a good one. And then I'm going to go over the one that I didn't watch last time. That I was halfway through. That I got distracted halfway through, but I want to go over that one again because that was another good one. And then there's another one that I haven't seen. So I thought I could just do that. I want to focus on the fibre twigging. So that's what I'm going to do.
Things, reframing things, divorcing you from reality more and more extensively and incrementally, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, he becomes a presence or an entity that you're used to, that you're familiar
God,
with.
man,
You
so
feel
true.
at home with. He becomes home, in effect. And finally, the narcissist uses what is known as an attribution error. We tend to attribute behaviors to essences. We say, this guy behaves wickedly because he is evil. And this guy or this girl is altruistic and charitable and kind because that's who she is. We misidentify actions and behaviors with identity and essence.
Interesting.
We say people behave the way they do. They make decisions and choices. They act the way they do because of who they are. Not because they're stimulated by the environment. Not because they're in receipt of environmental cues. Not because they are coerced maybe to act the way they do. Not because they have no other choice. But because that's who they are. And this is known as attribution error.
Oh, fucking hell, look what I've
Act the way we
done.
do because we are rational creatures. We process information. We make
God
learned
damn
and
it.
informed decisions.
Oh,
Others
fibre
act the way they
twig.
do because that's who
Don't
they
do
are.
this
They
to me,
can't help
fibre
it.
twig.
We can help it.
I'm losing my
They cannot
yellows
help it.
here.
Same goes when you're confronted with the narcissist. You attribute his behaviors to his inner core, to his inner identity, to his inner essence, not to the environment,
Oh,
not
man
to the shared
alive.
fantasy.
I don't think I do
So
that as
then you
much
say,
as some
his
people might.
behaviors,
I do.
his choices,
They
his
call me
decisions,
paranoid,
his
but
actions
actually, no,
are
I'm just
strongly
realistic.
indicative that this is who he is. In other words, that there is an inner core, that there is an essence, there is somebody there, there is someone there. You know, it's not empty, it's not true. He's not empty because he acts, he behaves, he makes choices, he makes decisions. That means that his essence dictates how he manifests, how he expresses himself, how he behaves. And so that means he has an essence. So this is attribution error. Narcissists are machines programmed to react in highly specific, fantastic ways to the environment, environmental cues, environmental stimuli, to the outside. They react to the outside by internalizing it, by converting it to internal objects and internal representations. But they're still fully programmed by the environment, by external cues, by external stimuli.
I did
by
get
external
that. I took
information,
that. I
by
took that
data
on.
from
That
the
was
outside.
already
Everything
in
emanates
my
from the
mind a
outside,
little bit.
including narcissistic supply, which comes
How
from
could you
the
not?
outside.
How could I not be? How could I not take that one on? That one I got a bit, but some of that is just so mind blowing. The moving around of the furniture. I'll go into a little anecdote afterwards to illustrate what happened with that. and it literally happened yesterday. And I had this weird thing that happened, and I couldn't work it out. And then this video just explained it all to me, and I was just like, oh my god, like, fucking hell, man. It was mind blowing. It was mind blowing. Let's put that back on again. It's only the end bit anyway now.
And allows the narcissist to maintain the precarious balance of each.
You know what? Did I visit Red Bull Opium Den today? I know. Do you know, I was gutted, absolutely gutted, mate, right? So I went and I was just about to go to bed. I really was. I'd pushed it past 2 hours past my bedtime, and I was knackered. And I'd already pushed it then, so I was knackered. And it's my day off, and I wanted to make the most of my day. So I wanted to go to bed, and then I went in just to say hello. And then obviously I got in the chat, and I must have been there at least half an hour in the chat, and I thought, fucking hell, I should have gone in there. I should have gone on The Voice, right? But I knew that if I did, that's a whole can of worms in it. You know, I mean, look what happened last fucking week. Look what happened last time. So I was like, I want to go to bed, I want to go to sleep. So I didn't. But I should have done. And then got up and they were still going. And literally, as I went on, they'd shut down shop. And I was like, no. Or maybe because I turned up, maybe Red Bull fan, he was like, fuck this. He was like, no, I don't want to open a fucking can of worms either. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wanted to go to bed. So, like, ships in the night on that one, unfortunately. But it would have been a good one. It would have been a good one. I saw it for a bit. I saw a little bit. I saw the letter Volp. He was being his normal shit-stirring fucking self. Doshin turned up for a bit, and then I fucked off. And that was it, who I saw there. But I think some people rocked up, didn't they, at some point?
Internal barren wasteland of a landscape. Everything comes from the outside. Narcissist is totally outside determined, even has an external locus of control. It tends to blame people.
This is all good learning. These are the tools. These are the tools to help that are coming now.
Does something wrong, if he fails, or he would blame people and say, they hate me, they envy me, they sabotage me. So, it's all outside, ironically. And so, attribution error. When you see a robot picking a ball, does it imply that the robot has a soul, or a psyche,
maybe,
or a self, or an ego?
Who knows?
And if the robot were to slap you, would that imply that the robot is angry? Or that there is a robot soul, or a robot psyche, or a robot something that has made this decision? No, it would imply simply that the robot is programmed to act this way. Now, programming could be highly complex. Programming could yield unexpected behaviors and outcomes, not reducible to the code, not detectable in the program, but it's still a program. Never mind how complex the emergent phenomena are, no matter how complex the emergent behaviors, the epiphenomena. The complexity of the emergent behaviors is not proof that there's somebody there, there's someone there. It's just proof that the program is well written and has a lot of leeway and degrees of freedom, which generate hyper-complex behaviors that cannot be directly traced to the program. But programmed machines do not have souls. They do not have psyches. They don't have core identities.
That's sad.
There's nobody there. It's a void, an emptiness.
That's sad.
Lines of code.
I can't believe it.
That's a narcissist.
I can't believe it, honestly. I can't believe it gets that bad. I can't believe it gets
to
that
mislead
bad.
you into believing otherwise is because he invades your mind. He colonizes your mind. He triggers you from the inside, and that makes you feel real. And then he reassembles you and reorganizes you and reframes you and recreates you on the fly. And that makes you feel
on the fly,
familiar.
definitely. I'll drink to that.
And then he displays complex behaviors, choices, and decision making, highly intelligent sometimes, and that gives you the impression that there is someone there. There is a core, there is an entity, there is an existence, a presence, when actually it's an absence. It's a program, well written, the sense that it yields unpredictable behaviors and choices, not traceable back to the program. What is this program, after all? The abuse. The early childhood abuse and trauma, coupled probably with the genetic predisposition of the narcissist, have created the narcissist, have programmed the narcissist. The narcissist is the outcome of abuse and trauma as forms of programming.
Why doesn't every home in the UK have brand new solar panels? The number one reason is not about that.
That is a lot to think about right there, I have to say. I mean, the guy's fucking spot on about loads of things, but I just can't believe that someone is completely gone. Like, I've had an insight into it. Like, I know how that programmed behavior works. Like, I've had that in me before, and I have challenged it, and I feel like I've broken through like tons of it. Loads of it still goes, but I'm aware of it. I just can't believe that someone, no, you could get lost in it forever though, couldn't you? Honestly, there's so much to think about there. There's just so much to think about. If someone chooses that, it's like Seabolt, if you choose to accept the fucking mission, do you choose to accept this mission? You know, in that valley of death, there is no bedtime story. You've got to write your own bedtime story. Fanning around, stirring shit. Small time shit. You know what I mean? Like, is it worth it? This is the shit, man. Fuck, in my opinion, anyway. God damn. If you choose to accept it, there's a lot to think about there. Now, which is the next one? There was this one, which is the one I was watching before. Leva, she's travelling. She's on her holidays.
Do you recall the first time you've met the narcissist?
So this is the one that I started the other day.
How you felt so perfectly and profoundly
I think I'm just going to go full Sam
the
Vitamin
first time in
today.
your life.
I'm
How you
feeling
felt
it.
as a mind
Feeling
meld.
it today.
You've met your soulmate, your twin flame, if you're so inclined. The narcissist kind of understood you or grasped you or belonged to you the way no other human being has ever done. Not even your mother, not even your parents, previous lovers, no one. For the first time in your life, you felt accepted. You felt that you belong. You felt that there are no conditions imposed on who you are, on your existence, on your core identity. You and the narcissist were one. If not physically, then definitely you were beginning to merge and fuse. You were beginning together to become a single organism, an entity with two heads. And this is known as the symbiotic phase. This feeling of being understood to perfection, of being grasped without judgment, of being considered ideal and perfect despite your flaws and shortcomings.
There's a floor of
This
mine.
feeling is intoxicating, inebriating. It becomes an addiction. And it has 4 reasons.
Never been
I've
able to do
discussed
this
3 of them
bloody shit.
in previous videos. And today, I'm
Always
going to
sealing
expand
off my chi.
on the
That's
4th.
me. Ooh.
My name is Sam Vagnin. I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited, the understanding former visiting professor of psychology, and the grasping professor of clinical psychology and business management in the SIAPS Institute in Cambridge, United Kingdom. Okay, so you've met the narcissist. It could be a date. It could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. It could be in church, could be a colleague. The first meeting is something never forgotten. Either you react with extreme revulsion and you can't stand the narcissist, even for a minute. And this is known as the uncanny valley reaction. And I discuss it in other videos, multiple. Or
Hey up.
you
Hey up,
fall
Image
prey
Comics, man.
to the narcissist's
Basically, the
superficial
heavy
charm,
vocal. Yeah.
penetration,
It's all the same
in every
stuff,
possible
yeah.
way.
It's all the same stuff. It's just
Psychological
humans.
penetration,
Humans doing crazy shit to each other.
insights, the ability
Red Bull crashed
to
out.
blow you in
Hey Volt, I just literally turned up. I was like, was it something I said? I literally turned up and was like, yo, I've just woke up, he's still going. And he just like pressed fucking, didn't even say goodbye, just pressed his fucking button. Cheeky bastard. Shut up, man. He is not. Listen to the shit. Did you hear that video? Did you hear how on point that video was? Well, it was for me anyway today. Maybe it's just my narcissism. I'm like, fucking hell, he's speaking to me. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly, Image Comics, man. Yeah, this is it. This is why I love it. This is the field, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do more like putting Sam Vaknin stuff on. Maybe I'll do one stream a week where I just do Sam Vaknin reactions or just listening to him, because I listen to him anyway. And this is the place for it. This is the place for it, man. Exactly, yeah. I mean, this is the thing, once we got to this age as well, it's like, it's a lifestyle choice at this point, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not like people are experimenting what works for them. It's like they're full card carrying, ingrained, you know, so in some cases a computer program. Now Volt, maybe that'd go away some way to explain your fucking tarot that time, being a flow diagram. Are you one of these programmed people? That's why people call you a robot, maybe. We program just lines of code inside there instead of a person. It's a hard concept to get your head around though, and I've even had experience of that programmed style thinking. I've had that, you know, where you just have those reactions, those subconscious reactions to stuff from being a kid, and when you unpick it all, you can just get rid of it all. Wooden stick game music produced by Atari Tallarico. I know. Oh my god, they produce some right good like AI music, Atari Tallarico music. Do a proper tarot reading. It was too loud compared to my voice, was it? Oh, okay. Well, it's quite close to this microphone. I can move it across. I will do a tarot reading in a bit if you want, but I'm going to try and get this done. I'm doing all right for now, touch wood. So I just need to not forget about fucking hearts. And I'll be all right. But I will do a tarot reading in a bit if you want. Do you want me to do you one? I'll do a Celtic Cross if you want. Don't mind. If I've got time tonight. So, oh, that's the point though. I need to do something. Probably means I think of solutions in a flowchart. It probably does. That's what I thought it was. That is what I thought it went at before. Hello, Marvel Man. Hello, comic book fans. No, he was saying that the programming comes in from. I think you end up self-programming in the end, but I think it's like a self-perpetuating thing. But he said it all comes from when you were a kid. So it's all the stuff, and that's what I found when I was trying to unprogram the stuff that was in me. It was like a lot of it was like real knee-jerk stuff, like the envy and all that shit that you get from being a kid. Like, I just had to challenge myself with all that don't be a dick shit, do you know what I mean? And I was all right. Once you shine a light on it, it's just like, once you can accept it and just not realize it's a challenge, but it's not like a challenge to your. It is a challenge to your soul, but it's not like, it doesn't mean that you're a worst person in the world because you've not done something right. And once you do that, once you accept that, everything changes and you can break through. I think you can break through that stuff. And so I do think that some people can be like varying degrees of programmed. But does that mean that everyone who's like exhibits quite significant behaviours in that way, does it mean that they're all empty programs? Or does it mean that like there's a bit of it in different people because there's a spectrum to everything, isn't there? Oh yes, I heard the news. Nico is dead. Yes. Yes. Oh yes. Wow. I'm sure Mr. Boombastic will be interested to hear of that. I heard. What I did hear is that Leo's about, and he's talking to Rico again. So I'll keep an eye out for that. I haven't seen his channel. Falk, do you know his channel? Is it still on that channel that he made after he left the first time or second time? Oh shit. We're on 13. Pointless, look at this. They're like basically. Okay, anyway. Let's put him back on anyway.
And understand you and comprehend you and be one with you.
Is that alright? Is that
so
a bit better
ways,
inside?
spiritually, psychologically, mentally, and so on and so forth. That you feel that you have found finally your other half. And then it becomes an addiction. There are 4 reasons for this process. Number 1, in all likelihood, you and the narcissist have a common background, a common type of childhood with adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. ACEs could include classical abuse, trauma,
down there,
anything
it's
from sexual
there.
abuse to physical abuse to verbal and psychological abuse, but could include other experiences which are essentially abusive because they breach the child's boundaries. They divorce the child from reality and from peers. So we are talking about pedestalizing the child, idolizing and spoiling and pampering the child, rectifying the child, instrumentalizing the child, and so on and so forth. All these are forms of adverse childhood experiences in addition to objective circumstances such as the sickness of the parents or relocation or divorce and so on and so forth. In all likelihood, as I said, you and the narcissist have this in common. You come from the same planet, the planet of abuse. You've been through it. You've done it. You've been there. And so you recognize each other instantly. There's a click, the click of tortured souls. And suddenly you see in the narcissist the possibility of being fully understood, fully accepted, to finally belong to your community, the community of long-suffering children.
Don't buy another pair of glasses until you've seen what
I
this
remember
new
watching
invention
this
can
last
do.
time, and I said,
These self-adjustable
these
glasses are
children
taking the world by
eat each other.
And so a common background of adverse childhood experiences is the first reason for the instant attachment and bonding happens with the narcissist. Second reason is what I call the hall of mirrors effect. I again expound on it in numerous other videos. I recommend that you watch or search the shared fantasy playlist on this channel. But in a nutshell, the hall of mirrors effect
Have I got
is
this
when
far
the
before
narcissist
with this?
idealizes you
I don't know.
and you see yourself through the narcissist's eyes. Through the narcissist's gaze, you're a perfect entity. You're amazing. You're drop-dead gorgeous. You're hyper-intelligent. You can do no wrong. This idealization communicated to you day in and day out becomes addictive and intoxicating. And so you become attached and bonded to the narcissist because it is only through his gaze that you are capable to see yourself this way. And only by seeing yourself this way can you love yourself. Sometimes for the first time in your life, you experience self-love through the narcissist's gaze. The narcissist allows you to ignore your flaws and shortcomings, your missteps, your bad choices. You can ignore all that because now the narcissist has
What's that
magically
feeling?
rendered you a perfect being, almost godlike, I would say. Devoid
Almost like you hear
of all
the magical musical fucking elf!
safety,
Godlike
because you're not
indeed,
going to let
yes.
yourself down.
Oh yes.
But you
Get in, motherfuckers. I did it. I've cracked the code. Now, tomorrow, the world, I'm going to do the rest now. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat the lot of you, man. I'm going to beat Ron next. I think it's Ron next. Yeah, cheers for the GGs. Weird S3. How fast is my new internet? I'm not sure. It's alright, I think. Yeah, if you want. If you want Marvel Man, you can do. Yeah, definitely. And we can always have discourse in the chats about this if you wanted to talk about the points that come up. But for now, I'm quite happy just playing it through and making the odd comment. Because, I mean, they speak for themselves, these videos. And they are very pertinent to me anyway in my situation. Level complete. No, he isn't though. He isn't, Bob. You're just jealous. Right. Ooh, it goes right. Fancy the music. I've never heard this bit before. Anyway. The dog! It was Doshin, wasn't it? The pissy dog. Oh, right. So I've got, yeah, okay. The streak piss dog. And I've got another 14 points in experience. Wicked. So in that case, I'm going to have some. I don't know what this is. Is this how many hearts come up or how long your hearts last? I'm not sure. So I'll put some on anyway, just in case. Since I've got 14. And then I'll have, of course, I'm going to put like 8 on there. I see. Oh, I see. Okay. See how that goes on. No, I never heard the victory music. No, because I've played like 3 or 4 streams and not done it because I knew how to do it, and when I practiced it on my own, I could do it, but I'd just not got my muscle memory into it because I played it just like really reactive before instead of like using the hearts. I just kept going back into that, and so now I can hopefully I've cracked it. So we're making bone-like patterns for the watchdog. Now we know he is a watchdog. We don't know who he's watching for at any given time. So here we go against Doshin. The piss, whatever it is, streak of piss dog. Right, so I've got those. Oh, Sam Vaknin.
You need the narcissist's gaze, you need the narcissist's eyes, you need the narcissist's presence to be able to continue to love yourself this way. Because he's the one idealizing you.
Oh.
He lets you look into the mirror of his mind where you see yourself queen-like, idealized.
See, this is where I
amazing,
don't feel myself as queen-like, and so this is why.
And this is the whole
this is my saving grace.
effect. You don't fall in love with the
I
narcissist.
never ever believed.
You fall in love with the way the narcissist
Never went for the
falls in
queen
love with
ending.
you.
Me never
You
was
fall
one
in
for
love
the
with
queen
the way the
ending ever,
narcissist idealizes you.
and that
You
was
fall
my
in love with
saving
your
grace.
reflection in the narcissist's eyes and mind. This reflection is an eternal hall
It
of
uses
mirrors.
your own vanity against
Each
you,
mirror
and I have got vanity
reflects
because Carl got the
another
better of me with my
which
vanity,
reflects another
but my
mirror.
vanity maybe
And
not
in all
as much
You are the
as
superstar.
some people,
You are the one and only.
or might not have been
There's
fucked
only
around with by the world, I should say.
This
My
is
vanity
all
probably
mirrors
just as
that
much as
which
anyone
leads, of
else's,
course, to
but
bonding and
it
attachment
just
because it triggers
hasn't been as
narcissistic defenses
fucked up
in your own
by people
grandiose.
and the world and money and all the
Next is trauma
Patreon
bonding. I've
and the
discussed
rest
it
of
in
it,
multiple
patriarchy.
videos. In my work, trauma bonding is a form of self-punishment and self-harm. Self-harming. That's how I see trauma bonding. But I won't go into it because I have a few videos dedicated to this issue on this channel, and there are many other videos on trauma bonding online. It's a well-known, well-perceived concept. The next reason you bond with a narcissist so intensely and so irrevocably, one could say, is the shared fantasy. The shared fantasy is a narrative. It's a storyline. It's a script. It's a movie. It's a theater production. And you're in it. You're in it. Because you're in it, you're a heroine or a hero. Now, all the gender pronouns are interchangeable. Half of all narcissists are women. So, the narcissist inducts you, introduces you into a shared fantasy. The shared fantasy is so divorced from reality, is so perfect, colors of pink, so amazing. You're so Barbie-like in the shared fantasy, or Ken-like, whatever, that the shared fantasy itself becomes a golden cage. You can't emerge from it, you can't exit it, because the outside reality is unbearable, boring, hostile, dangerous,
Happy
risky,
birthday, happy
hateful,
clappy, happy
and
fluffy
leads nowhere,
YouTube land.
hopeless. Well, the shared fantasy is all these things in reverse. And today I would like to discuss yet another reason for bonding and attachment. But before we go there, I remind you of the concept of entrainment. Entrainment is when the narcissist uses repetitive verbal mantras, verbal statements, in order to synchronize your brainwaves with his brainwaves. And no, this is not a metaphor. That's a physiological fact in a training. And when he synchronizes his brainwaves with your brainwaves using these verbal slogans, verbal statements, verbal strings, when he does this, it's easy for him to penetrate your mind and to install in your mind the way you install an app on your
Oh
smartphone.
shit.
To install in your
I
mind
thought I had a shield.
his voice, an introject of himself, an avatar of himself inside your
What?
mind.
I had...
This avatar, this introject, this voice keeps talking to you, keeps brainwashing you from the inside.
Never needed you, never needed all these pieces of my heart.
And you are unable to tell that this is not your voice. You think it's an authentic voice that represents exactly who you are, while all this time, it's actually the narcissist. So this is a mechanism through which the narcissist invades your mind, exactly like cancer invades your mind.
It's a
and then
fucking mind
metastasizes
blow. It's
as
mind
his
blowing.
voice,
It's mind
his
blowing.
introject, collaborates with other voices and introjects inside your mind. But let's talk about the fifth reason. And the fifth reason is projective resonance. Projective resonance is not the same as empathy and not the same as social cognition. Let it be clear. I'm not implying that the narcissist has either empathy or social condition. Actually, I insist that he is impaired on both counts. Projective resonance is when the narcissist sees himself in you the same way you see yourself in him, but the outcomes are different. When you see yourself in the narcissist, when you identify yourself and recognize yourself in the narcissist's mind, it causes you to attach to the narcissist, to bond with the narcissist, to get addicted to the narcissist, because it's a very, very primordial, infantile feeling of being a child again, being loved unconditionally by a maternal figure, so to speak. So, in your case, when you recognize yourself in the narcissist's mind, when you see the similarities between his mind and yours, which are profound and overwhelming and so on and so forth. To the point of identity. You're identical with the narcissist. At that point, you bond and attach. In the case of the narcissist, as usual, the reaction is exactly the opposite. The more the narcissist sees himself in you, the more hateful, rejecting, resentful, and aggressive
Oh,
he becomes.
shit!
When you see yourself in the narcissist's mind, you fall in love with the narcissist. You bond with the narcissist.
Yeah, this is
You attach with the narcissist. It's a soulmate. It's your other half. It's your twin flame. When the narcissist sees himself in you, he gets angry.
And this is
He
where
gets pissed off.
everything happens.
He becomes resentful, violent, hateful, verbally abusive, and so on and so forth. Why is that?
Right, so
Let's
can I just say,
very
Volk, you were the one who said at Red Bulls today about people saying that apparently when I started streaming it went to my head, which is just a classic reaction. And what I'll say to that is just what he's saying right now about that. What's more likely? What is more likely? And for me, the timing all lines up. Just like, yeah, you could say that, but you know, the evidence is I was open and honest, and I've been one of the only people who hasn't been sat there crying about having drama on my channel and all the rest of it. So I don't think there's really much basis to that accusation. So yeah, what he's saying there, I think, is quite pertinent. What the fuck is going on here? Why am I not getting any? Oh my god. There's just literally no hearts to be had here. Look, there's no hearts. Look at this. What the fuck is going on here? Why can't I get any hearts? If I only had a heart. The fuck is going on here? Oh my god. Okay, right, so I've got some of these. That is fucking mental. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me before. So crazy. It's all these money off vouchers. Oh my god! Did you see that? Not one heart! Not one heart in all of that! That is just mental. Oh, Doshin, you annoying dog.
Imagine that you're a weak person, vulnerable, dependent. I don't want to say clingy, submissive. This is one group.
I don't get hearts on this level, obviously.
Even when you start off as strong-willed, well-accomplished, with personal autonomy, self-efficacy, agency, you know, independent woman or man, even when you start off this way, the narcissist crushes you. The narcissist is like an industrial press. Industrial press. He demolishes you. He rearranges your molecules and atoms with enormous outside pressure. He uses a variety of manipulative techniques to alter or modify your behaviors so that they conform to his expectations. He renders you a slave, submissive, an extension of himself. And so, many intimate partners of narcissists end up in the relationship being weak and vulnerable and dependent and submissive and clingy and anxious and so on. When this happens, you begin to remind the narcissist of his own true self. Because the narcissist's true self, having been sacrificed to the monarch, to the idol of the false self, in early childhood, the child kills the true self. The child fossilizes the true self, deactivates the true self in order to merge with the false self. So the true self becomes weak, vulnerable, dependent, submissive to the false self, inactive, passive, and everything. So when the narcissist forces you to become like this, when the narcissist forces you to become passive and vulnerable and weak and dependent and insecure, when the narcissist pushes you to this position with constant harassment, constant abuse, constant belittling and degrading and denigrating and shaming and so on and so forth, when you become finally what he always wants you to be, submissive, a slave, it reminds him of his own true self. Now, I keep saying in my videos, the narcissist doesn't have a self. Indeed, the narcissist's true self is unconstellated, not integrated. It's not a functioning self. It's a wannabe self. It's a self in the making. It was a work in progress, and then the false self took over and disabled the true self. So it's no longer psychodynamically active. When the narcissist sees you and you are helpless, needy, insecure, indecisive, dependent, submissive, clingy, panicky, anxious, it reminds him of his true self, and it undermines his grandiose, fantastic false self.
Discover even more savings in the Oak Furnitureland Big Weekend, including all of these products.
Because the narcissist believes that he's the opposite of all these things. He believes that he's strong. He believes himself to be invulnerable, immune to the consequences of his actions, acting with impunity, independent.
I did say that the other day, so these people think they're untouchable.
And then you come along.
It's true.
And he looks at you, and it triggers in him the true self. Not the true self, but the faint memory of the true self. And this casts in doubt, this undermines the narrative of the godlike false self.
I had a fucking shield.
Because if the true self is weak and dependent and vulnerable, and possibly even stupid and so on, then the narcissist is not perfect. He is imperfect. He is not godlike. He is not omnipotent. He is not omniscient. In other words, this seriously challenges the false self and endangers the precarious balance of the narcissist's personality, which took decades to construct. Now let's take the other case. The other case is that you're not weak, vulnerable, stupid, and so on, but you are strong, you're resilient, you're agentic, possession of agency, you're independent, you're self-efficacious, you're accomplished, you're out there, you have your own social circle, your own family, your own life. Well, that's a problem. It's a problem because you keep clashing.
I think we know.
With your
I think we know it is a
with
problem.
an image of you that the narcissist has in his
With
mind,
their own words.
with your avatar, with your representation in the narcissist's brain. You keep confronting it. You keep diverging from it. You keep undermining it. Personal autonomy, independence, self-efficacy, agency are bad for business as far as the narcissist is concerned, because they keep challenging and undermining the internal object that represents you in the narcissist's mind, and this provokes in the narcissist fear, abandonment, anxiety, separation, insecurity,
Definitely felt
but
that.
also
Definitely felt
the
that.
fear of losing control over you.
Like, not me having the fear, but other people having the fear. It just came. It was like jungle drums. You could feel it. And then it's a song. It was a song by Sloan called Lucy. It reminded me of that a lot.
You're similar to how the narcissist sees himself.
Felt it, feel it.
He sees himself.
Couldn't work it out what it was.
Resilient, super smart,
And then
majestic, independent.
that latest, what you said, Volk, about someone saying that
and so on. And if you
it was
are
when I started
that way,
streaming, it went to my head. Well, that just said it all to me.
you are like the narcissist. You are like the narcissist's own self. You compete. It's a competition. You compete with the narcissist's inflated, grandiose self-image.
Massive competition.
And that pisses him off because you are challenging, you are casting in doubt his uniqueness. The narcissist claims I'm one of a kind. No one is like me. No one is ever like me. There's never been anyone like me, never will be anyone like me. And not in the trivial sense, in the sense that I'm a supreme being. And here you come along and you demonstrate to the narcissist that he is not one of a kind. He is not sui generis. There are other people like him. And this, of course, rends apart his self-perception as unique and threatens the balance of his personality. It conflicts with your internal image in his mind. So, projective resonance is when the narcissist projects onto you either his true self, and that puts him in touch with his life-threatening shame. If he sees in you his true self, he is reminded of his childhood shame and childhood rage that are unreconciled and could lead him to suicidal ideation and major depression. So you are like walking, talking mortification. So he projects onto you either the true self, that is when you're weak and dependent and submissive, then you remind him of the true self. He projects onto you his true self, and that is like a mirror. You become like a mirror, and he sees the part of himself that is childlike, that is weak, that is shameful, that he had rejected. The part, the dirty secret, the skeleton in the cupboard of the false self. If you're strong and resilient and energetic, the narcissist projects onto you the false self. And then you become the competition. And you also undermine.
It was all done very low key. It was all very low key. No one actually knew they were doing it.
The introject, the snapshot.
It was so bizarre. It's the most bizarre thing. I did not expect it.
Ruins the shared fantasy.
It was not what was presented as what was going to happen. When that happened, it
the projective,
was always massively supported, and then all of a sudden,
projection, the projective
crazy
resonance
time.
is a major problem.
Crazy time.
It leads directly
Fuck's
to
sake.
devaluation and discard. It's another mechanism to allow the narcissist to separate from you and to individuate. So, these are the 5 mechanisms that lead to bonding and attachment with the narcissist. The common background of adverse childhood experiences, the hall of mirrors, where you see yourself idealized and you fall in love. You see yourself idealized through the narcissist's eyes and gaze, and you fall in love with yourself. Trauma bonding, the shared fantasy, and finally, projective resonance, which involves in training and so on and so forth. All these lead to a very pathological kind of bond between you and the narcissist. Because on the one hand, you get more and more enmeshed, more and more engulfed, more and more merged, more and more fused with the narcissist, as he becomes your exclusive access to society, to reality, and to society, but as he becomes your only exit strategy, as he has isolated you and rendered you utterly dependent on you for every need, psychological and sometimes physical, This is known as coercive control. That's on your side of the equation. On his side of the equation, he begins to resent you. He becomes more and more angry at you, more aggressive, more hateful, more rejecting.
And it's also conscious. It's part this. Yes.
He pushes you away. He wants to separate from you.
This is the programming, and this, I felt this before when I wanted to push people away. So I know what it is, I know that, but you have to challenge it. You've got to challenge it, otherwise you're just going to like literally go through life just hiding from it. And finding, I suppose maybe you can just survive like that. Maybe that's just the way people just survive and they just get from A to B, but really, is that really where, maybe that is living for some people, maybe that's the high life, like, it's not what I want out of life. It might be an easy life, just to put yourself on autopilot. I don't know. Is it putting yourself on autopilot though? I don't even know if it is. Oh, no, fell for that trick again. No, no, no. I still cannot believe that you just do not get any hearts. This dog is just tight with the hearts. That's what it is, isn't it? You just don't get any hearts with this fucking dog. Unbelievable. You didn't get hammers. What is that? I did get a heart earlier though. I did see that. Not a heart. Oh. Who is? Thank you, Marble Man. He sounds like a flat tire, so no worries. Who does? Diaperus? Derailing my pickup stick stream? He's not here. He's a nobody. Who cares about that fucking piece of shit? No hearts is what I'm worried about. He could do with learning about some narcissism shit. Although that little soggy cotton wool boy will just cry and bitch. Because, I mean, heaven forbid you could actually do some learning and just shut the fuck up and just learn. Listen to someone who knows what they're fucking talking about. Not me, the guy on the video. Because all I am is a curator. Am I even that? I'm just the caretaker, but I'm also pointing out things which I think are congruent with what's happening with us, and I'm just showing this shit that he's putting out at the moment is absolutely fucking spot on for what's going on around here, in my opinion. It's basically my job.
Because you become a mother figure. He wants to individuate.
Isn't it
and
just?
Isn't it just? And the variety of psychological processes to justify the devaluation in discard.
It's just the variety. Let me just rewind that one, because that is exactly what has been happening around here.
On the one hand, you get more and more enmeshed, more and more engulfed, more and more merged, more and more fused with the narcissist, as he becomes your exclusive access to society, to reality, and to society. But as he becomes your only exit strategy, as he has isolated you, and rendered you utterly dependent on you for every need, psychological and sometimes physical. This is known as coercive control.
This is the weasel man. This is the weasel man. This is what he's doing. Just saying. The little lizard man.
Resent you.
That's what he's doing.
He becomes more and more angry at you.
Yep.
More aggressive.
Did it not? Did that not happen? We saw it happen.
This is an inexorable process.
We saw that happen
that he
over
pushes you away.
time.
he wants to separate from you because you become a mother figure.
What does individuate mean? It means it's a process, like he says, it's an inexorable, whatever the word is, inexorable process. It's part of the programming. It comes in from being very, very, very young, and not being able to individuate from your parents. And it's a natural process that you have to go through to be a grown-up. And it got stunted at that point for some reason. Something happened to stop it from happening, one way or another. And he was saying, like, some of the rooms are like pedestaling them so they can kiss their arse and stuff, and, like, you know, people end up living at home for years, and much like you, Marvel Man, living in your mum's basement. You've not individuated from your mum yet. It's like that. And then, but some people are like living away from home, but they still haven't individuated, or something fucked that up. It got fucked up, and then they need to do it. They've still got it in them to do it. If that's their programming, I wonder is that like DNA or something? Does it go that far when it gets to the fucking individuation? Because obviously, like, it's like with cats, right? So when you've got a cat and they've got a kitten, you could keep them together, but when they get older, they're not going to get on. Well, in my experience, they don't get on with each other. So there's like a natural thing in them that's programmed in for that cat to leave the mum and go away and like seed somewhere else where it's not going to inbreed. So there's like a natural thing in there. That's the cat's programming. And then we circumvent that cat's programming by saying, oh, we'll keep the kitten and the mum. And then they all end up fighting with each other forever. So it's like that level of programming. It's not that thing. It's not parents pushing the cats evolutionarily away, but maybe the individuation process is something like that. And then it gets fucked up, and then they go through life until they actually analyse it. I don't know what happens. You know what I mean? And do they ever get over that? Does anybody ever get over that if it gets fucked up? There you go, Marvel Man. Well, you should listen to Sam Backman because he'll help you. He'll tell you a few tales. I'm going to have another go at Dorshin.
He wants to individuate, and he uses a variety of techniques and a variety of psychological processes to justify the devaluation and discard. The closer you get to him, the more intimate you think you are with him.
Do you know what? I'm going to timestamp that fucker. 25:31.
The more attached, the more loving, the more caring, the more compassionate, the more affectionate, the more helpful, the more loving, the less the narcissist. It's action and reaction. Newtonian kind of thing.
So true.
Your push causes a pushback. And so it's a very tragic, sad state of affairs.
Yes,
where
yes, indeed.
The more you form, the more you love, the more you caress and hug.
Yep.
The more the narcissist withdraws from you, avoids you, hates you, devalues
yeah, and then on top of it,
you.
this is fair enough, right? And that's fair enough. But then on top of it, turning around and saying that I'm attacking them, and then making a lie up about it in the case of Ricardo, a massive lie, and then acting upon that. Little lizard man. You know, like, it's one thing to be in that position where you have to individuate and all that stuff, and the more it gets all fucked up, the more that someone tries to help, the more that someone tries to reach out, the more that you resent it, and the more that you push yourself away. That's fair enough, but then to actually act upon that and then smear that person based on the fact that they helped you just because of your fucked up sideways way of looking at things, That's where I draw the line. You know, it's a narrative. And fucking idiots that believe it because they want to. Well, that was a bit of a silly thing to do, wasn't it? So I take it you just don't get any hearts because it's like they're not coming quite as fast as they were with Curia. So you get a bit more of a chance, but you've got to be on it. Like it's like there's no hearts. There's no hearts. Don't have a heart. It's like heartless elbow around here. Ah, fuck. I imagine there's loads of fucking Amico shit going off, is there? Is there any Amico streams of shit happening? I know there's the one later on. Woo! There's one later on, but like, is there anything going off at the moment? I'm wondering who's done videos. I've not seen anything apart from Tommy's. I suppose I best get busy doing my thing at some point. I want to get this done first. Got an order that I like to do things in, and this is my order that I want to do things in. And I finally managed to beat Curia, so I'm happy about that. I feel like I've achieved something there. Fucking Hooligan doesn't start till really late though, does he? He starts at like crack of sparrows, doesn't he? It's like 7 o'clock in the morning or something for me when he starts normally or something like that. So I can never. A lot of the time, my kid's over here on Thursday night. We stayed at his dad's tonight, so I can watch it, you know. I think he used to do them on a Monday morning a lot. I think it was Sunday night for you guys, like Monday morning for me. So it'd be like Monday morning at 7 a.m. It's just like the worst time for me. It's never going to happen. Okay. Wasting them. Second viewing, the second sighting of Doshin, the streak of piss, shaking like a shitting dog. Yeah, this is one where you have to make structure, I suppose. Since you don't have any hearts. Oh my gosh. This is fucking shit. Yeah, man. Darius is the flat tire comment. That's fine. Sideman Sab Fab and inspiring. He is, isn't he? He is brilliant extemporaneous. Yeah, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot going on in there, and it's very, very pertinent to this community. I don't know how long I've been going on this. I kind of fancy a smoke. So what I might do is I might just put something on or something for 5 minutes. I mean, there's only like 3 of us in here. If you guys don't mind, I might come back and do some more fibre twists. I don't want to just like leave it boring for you guys. So I might just like put something on for you. I just want to go for a smoke. But I don't want to give up yet. I want to get past Ocean. Dog shit! Come on! So I'm gonna see what we can find. What do we got? What do we got? Any requests from anybody? Any requests? So what? Oh, here we go. Let's have. That's only 2 minutes. 2 minutes long. Oh look, Evil's on. I might finish if Evil's on then. Well, no, I'll have another go when I come back. How long's No Swear Gamers? Has anyone done a long one on this Atari shit? What about Ninja Kitty? Has he done something yet? Who's done something? I'll put some Everest shit on. I'll just see what comes up if I put Everest in. Right, good old. I'll put the Everest Nova. I think that's the one I was. Some really good Everest Nova documentaries. Death Zone. Oh, it's good. I think it was this one. The 1996 disaster. We'll have that on. I don't know if we watched that. But yeah, this is fucking brilliant, man. Fucking brilliant. I'll leave this on. Okay. All right. I get the idea.
For over 25 years, I've been making the journey to Mount Everest. I've stood on its summit 5 times. The mountain has given me great joy and close friendships. It's also been a place of hardship and tragedy. In 1996, a fast-moving storm trapped climbers high on the mountain, and people died. Stories were told, forever changing the world's perception and my own about climbing Everest. Now, I've come back to base camp alone, to remember and to reflect on what it was like to be here, on this mountain, 10 years ago. We were all gathered at the mountain's base that year. We'd come with a common goal. I shared their energy, optimism, and desire. All those hopes, all those dreams. But most of all, I remember the climbers and friends caught in that storm. This is their story.
When we left base camp, we were all wary, of course, of mighty Everest in front of us, but this was it. This was our chance. So we took off, and it was a great feeling.
Nobody can go there without thinking this is way cool just to be able to climb on this thing. Just that idea that you're actually going to put your feet on Everest. I don't care whether you're a climber or you're not a climber. That's big stuff. That's exciting.
We went 2/3 of the way through the icefall and I was hooked. It was the most spectacular piece of real estate that I'd ever climbed on. It helps you to put yourself in perspective with what life's all about.
I got through the icefall and I started crying. And I thought, well, I'm probably hyperventilating because I'm really, really tired. And then I realized that I was beginning to cry because it was so amazing. It's just so beautiful.
I remember seeing them coming up the western cone. It was May 8th. I was already on the mountain. We'd set out a day ahead of the other teams, climbing up the Lhotse face on our way to the summit. I was leading the IMAX film team, but we'd been held up by high winds, and I was worried about the conditions higher up. We needed clear weather for filming. Looking down from Camp 3, we could see them climbing towards us. The mountain suddenly seemed crowded. we decided to go down and wait. On the way down, I met an old friend who was leading one of the expeditions, the New Zealander Rob Hall. We talked about the weather. I took his picture. Further down, I met another friend who I'd known since we were young climbers in Colorado. Scott Fisher was leading his team of clients. The day before, he'd taken a sick climber down to base camp. It was good to see him, but he seemed tired. The next day, I watched from lower down as Scott and all the others began the steep ascent to Camp 4 on the South Col.
When you leave Camp 3 on the Lhotse face, it's the first time that you can actually see the summit. Your goal is visible, and that's very thrilling. What blind faith it's been this whole time, climbing this far without having your goal in front of you.
My very first view of Everest, it was a long moment and a big hard swallow, and the thought was, I'm not so sure whether I can do this.
Leaving Camp 3, we donned our down suits for the first time and definitely could feel the altitude and strenuousness of the climb. You know, climbing above 24 into 25,000 feet is really hard. It's I don't care who you are, it really is. It's challenging. It's hard work.
This was the first time that I remember registering the air is much, much thinner here than anywhere else I've ever been.
Earlier that morning, there'd been an accident at Camp 3. A Taiwanese climber had slipped and fallen into a crevasse, but he assured his teammate that he was okay and would rest before going higher.
我们在离开第三营往上面爬的时候呢，他告诉我说，他要大概再休息1个钟头、2个钟头以后。
You move out of an area that seems familiar. There is this sense of a desolate place. It's kind of like moving into Golgotha. This is a barren, hard, inhospitable, cold, and I don't mean that in temperature. I mean that in just a sense of heaviness about the place.
In the afternoon, we got a radio call. The Taiwanese climber's health had deteriorated. The Sherpas were bringing him down, and they asked us to help. We climbed fast up the Lhotse face, but by the time we reached him, Chen was dead. The Sherpas, superstitious about death on the mountain, wanted us to bring the body down. Chen's close friend and team leader, Makalu Gao, had just arrived at Camp 4 on the South Col.
David 他就打无线电来说啊，你们的那个陈死掉，我当场哇，我只能说啊，谢谢你告诉我这些。
Sitting at base camp all these years later, I can still remember my reaction. How upset I was by his response and his decision not to come down.
在第4营，陈是最被看好的一个人，他走掉了，我只好硬着头皮去试着完成这么一件事情。
Only now, after hearing his story, do I know why he decided to go on, and how little I understood about what it was like to be high on this mountain over the next few days.
weather was so crummy that when we first got in there, I didn't think there was any chance that we were going to climb that night.
In our tents at Camp 4 that night, it was living hell. It was absolutely crazy.
It was bad weather, and the concern was, well, what if it's like this tomorrow?
We thought we may have struggled all the way up here, and if this keeps up at all, then the whole crowd is just going to get to head back down and party's over.
About 8 o'clock, the wind died off, and so we were able to snatch a little sleep, as much as you can up there. You just are basically listening to your heartbeat and thinking, wow, the day has come, I can't believe it.
Get ready, be ready, 11 o'clock, we're going. I still remember looking at the faces of the other people. Doug thought it was a bad idea. You could just tell it in his eyes that he didn't want to go.
You had a little cover over your head, a little skull cap, and then you've got this massive thing like this, and you're trying to get your goggles adjusted just right, and meanwhile you can't see to put your gloves on, and you've got your straps. Oh gosh, I got the crampons on the wrong feet. I'll be there in a minute.
因为今天是我能够登上峰顶的一个好机会，然后穿好所有的衣服、鞋子、钉种。
You get out, you stand up, and it's a different world than the one you saw when you came in, because the night is gorgeous, the wind is still, you can see more stars than you ever dreamed that a place could have, and they're so close to you that you feel like you can touch them.
In front of us is this great silhouette, the blackness of Everest, and the Milky Way was just on fire. It was like a row of lights above us.
Greetings, Dr. Zayas.
It was a
Well, I have had many run-ins with the Rousers. It's a reference to my everyday life. That it's not Princess Bride at all. But as you wish. Right. Let's have another go at this bad boy. You never know. I put loads on the bloody yellows. Look at that. It's on high. It's on high. I think maybe I need to take some off on this. I'm going to put some on the cameras. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to level up my heart so I can get them on these. Maybe that's what it is. Try that. Try that. It's so weird music, but it's cool. I really like it, but it's really interesting the sounds that are behind the scenes in it. No, it don't make any difference. It's still the money off vouchers. Yep, still the money off vouchers. I don't even know what that means. Is that like points? Is it speed? The chi. Oh, as I live and breathe. Maybe I was correct. Maybe I needed to upgrade my heart. Okay, there we go. That's where we're at. Damn it. Oh, I wonder if that helps add percentages onto the thing that's already running, maybe? The concentration. Seriously, oh my god. Ah. Bastard. Josh's band planned a big slumber party with Emma who was qualified for microphone karaoke. I'll do karaoke at Dawshin's, yeah. None of the rest of it though. Streaky piece of dog piss. Yeah, when's he doing that? I don't want it to clash with hooligans though. No, it can't clash with hooligans. Oh no. But yes, I shall do some karaoke. Yes. I want to do AI karaoke. I think that'd be awesome. What we have to do though is we have to get like everyone make a song and then we all sing each other's song. Each other's different song, but we have to practice it for like, we have a week to get to know the songs because otherwise the songs are not going to have any meaning to them. But if we've had a week to get to know them and everyone's on a good song, a good AI song, then that's going to be really fun, I would think. Because the thing that'd be shit about the AI songs is that no one knows what they are. But if after a week, people would know what they were, and we sing each other's song, I thought that'd be really fun. We might take some doing. So I think the tournament might happen in the near future, but you know, things came up, didn't they? Unfortunately, and it always happens with things like this, like what Sam Backman was saying about how the more you get, the more you do stuff that gets closer to what's good, the more people go against it. And so what happened with Potion's award ceremony, you know, that's what kicked off all that shit. That's what instigated it. And maybe because Potion made such a success of that, and Dean had tried with his stuff, and he'd done his like fucking Tony funeral and all that other stuff, and it just hadn't taken. So I think he took umbrage at that and not getting nominated as well. But this time around it was similar as well. It really was. It was like I was doing the karaoke, it was doing really well. The karaoke, we were talking about the karaoke tournament, and then that's when everything just went tits up. So when stuff like that happens, it's exactly like the guy said on the video. And I think, you know, when I was a kid and when I was younger, I think I can understand that. I can imagine, I can remember that. It's like that whole thing. I remember when I went to my art class, in my A-level art, and he sat us down, and the first thing he said was, every single one of you was probably the best one, at Fibertwig in your class at school. And he was talking about art, so the best one at art in your school, and you were probably the best one in your class, and that's why you're in the here and now. But now you're in a class full of people who are also really good at art, and they were also the best people in their school. And he said the challenge for you guys now is to get over that and then collaborate with each other instead of like being pissed off at each other, basically. And I thought that was it was like literally the first thing that guy said to us when we sat in that fucking class. And that, I think, speaks a lot of volumes for a lot of this going on around here. It's all right up to a point, and then once it starts being a bit like, oh man, I'm not the best one in the fucking art class anymore. You're just not that anyone's any better than you, but you're just not like in the Valley of the King, what is it, Valley of the Blind, the one-eyed man is king and all that shit. Whoa. Fuck. Dawson, you motherfucker. It's tight. Tight as an old fucking cat's arse, he is. Anyway, what I want 10 minutes off the end of this dub, Sam Dawson video. Let's go.
And part of the reason is, of course, the maternal cycle. The narcissist need to complete or replay or reenact the early childhood conflict with the original mother, and this time to separate from her and become an individual. That's part of the reason.
There you go,
the other reason
is
projective resonance. Simply that whatever you do, you remind the narcissist of something inside himself. Whichever strategy you choose, I'm going to be submissive, I'm going to be a good wife or a good girlfriend or good boyfriend or whatever. If you choose to be good, you remind the narcissist of the true self, which is shameful and life-threatening. You mortify the narcissist by being good. When you're good to the narcissist, you mortify him. That's why he wants you to be bad. He wants you to abuse him. I advise you to watch my interview with Azam Ali on this topic. On the other hand, if you're strong and independent and so on and so forth, you're competing with the narcissist. You're challenging his uniqueness. You're ruining his fantastic, inflated self-image. And you're threatening to push him back to the borderline phase where his emotions are dysregulated, he gets in touch with his shame, he develops suicidal ideation. So, this projective resonance is another reason why the narcissist snapshots you, why he introjects you, why he converts you from a real external object to an imaginary internal object. Because he can control the internal object, he can mold it, he can falsify it, he can manipulate it, he can play with the internal object, he can talk to it, he can win with the internal logic.
Hmm.
The narcissist feels whole, elated, oceanic, or idealized in the process of co-idealization. But all this requires eliminating you as a separate external person and then withdrawing inside in a psychotic way and continuing to interact with the image of you in the narcissist's mind. When the narcissist goes through the phases of the shared fantasy, he experiences all these emotions, going back to the womb, feeling whole, narcissistic elation, what Freud called the oceanic feeling, being idealized by idealizing you, and so on and so forth. And he's terrified of losing these. He gets addicted to this the same way you get addicted to the Hall of Mirrors. You get addicted to your idealized version in the narcissist's gaze, to your idealized version in the narcissist's eyes and mind. You get addicted to it. It's flattering. You fall in love with yourself through his eyes. You self-love through his gaze. But it's the same for the narcissist. When you play the mother in the shared fantasy, he's terrified of losing this. And he's terrified of losing you as the source of this maternal symbiosis. And so he snapshots you. He introjects you. This risk of resonance, because when you are external, the risk of projective resonance is big. But when you're internal, it's somehow controllable, somehow reducible. And that's another reason to snapshot you, to introject you, to internalize, and to pretend that you've never existed, except as a figment of the narcissist's imagination, fantasy, and mind.
Very true, very true. Very true.
Earn rewards when you save with us.
Very true. What is most bestie's favourite colour? Streaky dog piss yellow, I think. I quite like yellow. Green glitter is my favourite colour. Ooh, streaky dog piss yellow it is. There we are, this is my favourite colour now. Couldn't be at a better point, really. Oh, huh. Come on. Whoops. Oh man alive, sorry for the boringness. I haven't even got anything on to listen to, have I? To comment on. That's alright. I'm very involved in beating Dawson. But yes, I am up for the karaoke. What's the dealio? Can I drive manual? Oh, manual. I have had a go on an automatic, but I've never really come across it. That often. Story on Darius? I don't know. Ooh. I only know what Slotham says. Whoops. Fuck. I'm dying now. What the fuck is going on? Where is it? Oh. No, go away. Oh my god. No, I've never ridden. I do, I've never even ridden on a motorbike, a big motorbike. But I do know someone, I can't remember what it was he had, someone in my family, and he had a massive motorbike accident. It was absolutely fucking insane. Like, it was like some guy pushed him off the road. So like, he was riding, and in those days, they really did not like motorbike people. And he was actually a fucking biker as well. He was a Hell's Angel at the time. And it wasn't like a rival gang or anything like that. It was just some guy doing like Hell's Angels. And he opened the door. He like tried to run him off the road. That's it. Run him into the middle of the fucking motorway, going right fast. Pushing him. And then got him into like that middle bit. And then fucking nose on the fence on the side. And then opened the door on him as well. And he got dragged across. His whole body got dragged across. I think he ripped his thumb off. He ripped something off. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, he's all right now. Well, only just though, because he's been like, and this is like years later. And I'm talking decades later, and he couldn't do anything. His whole body was completely like, he was all right for a bit, and then it all like came and got him later on in life, like the stress and the trauma that had happened, and that really, he was like in hospital, and they thought he was dead and all that stuff, and then came through it all, and then lived his life and whatever, and then like he's got into, what is he now, 60s. And it's all like, his whole body's just like really pissed off, like really like crumbling and shit. But like he got a hip operation, like he had to wait so long for it. So it's like our system's life is just fucked. But yeah, he had a hip operation, and now he's like a new man. Like honestly, he had to wait for so long. I mean, he nearly lost his job over it. He might still even lose his job over it. But yeah, that's put me off. That's massively put me off ever going on a motorbike, really. Because we just don't have roads like you guys do as well. We only have like tiny little roads, really, in comparison. We don't have... It's all like, for motorbikes and stuff, it's all like country roads and stuff, and people going on there to get the little turdy roads and stuff. You see everyone like in this... if Falk was here, he knows what I'm on about. Like, at bank holidays, when you see all the bikers, and I don't know if you've ever been to Matlock Bath on the bank holiday, and they're all like out for the windy roads, the little windy roads, and it's like, you know, it's not particularly safe, is it, that? On a giant motorbike, like on a fucking Goldwing. There's just no scope for it. There is a bit, obviously there's enough for people who do it, but it's not the same. It makes it more dangerous. I don't know why Queef doesn't drive. Maybe he doesn't need to. Because I've talked to Leo about that before. It's like, I don't drive. I can drive, but I don't drive because there's no need. I would if I had to, but there's no need for it. Everything's nearby, or the traffic's just too shit that it's just easier to go on like the tram to wherever I need to go. It's just like the infrastructure is like really different over here, especially where I live in my part of the city. It's like, and Leo, I remember talking to him about it because he's in a similar position. I can't remember where he is. Oh, fuck this shit, man. It's not working for me. Right, tossers. No, they're just old. They're all old. No, they're all old. Yeah. There are a few. I know what you're on about. They look like fucking Mount Everest climbers, some of them. Yes, there's a lot of that these days. A lot of that. But then I haven't seen many of them for a while. They come out in the summer. Just old men, innit? The North Face as well. You get a bit of the North Face going on with them guys. Whoops. Sherlock Holmes. Who's your favourite Sherlock Holmes? There's only one as far as I'm concerned. You better give me the right fucking answer when it comes to Sherlock Holmes. So I'm very particular about Sherlock Holmes. I didn't mind the new one, to be honest. It had David Tennant in it, didn't it? So, you know, what can go wrong there? But it wasn't a patch. It wasn't a patch on Jeremy Brett. Fucking hell, he's the... Oh, man. If ever a person managed to make something their own and make an art form out of a thing, it was Jeremy fucking Brett. And his Sherlock Holmes is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my fucking life. That's when a series or whatever, or some sort of fiction reaches, in my opinion, like high levels of art and interaction with the people involved and stuff like. It was just such a collaboration. Oh man, I love Jeremy Brett. Brilliant, or was brilliant. Oh fucking hell! Ah. Oh, Basil Rathbone, yeah, it was a good one. Not a bad one. Not a bad one, but I know it was Jeremy Brett, mate. Jeremy Brett, Charlie Chaplin. I've not seen Charlie Chaplin as Sherlock. I didn't know there was one. That's cool. Oh, I'd watch that. I'd watch a Charlie Chaplin Sherlock Holmes, definitely. Which one did he do? All of them. All of the Jeremy Bretts are on YouTube, don't you know? So we could watch a. Do you want to watch a Sherlock Holmes? I've had enough of this now. I think I've done enough fibre twigging, but I've got a bit of time, so I might just stick a. I'll have one more go. See how far I can get on this, and then we'll put a Jeremy Brett on. Just one. Just have that on. A nice chill out. While I have a smoke. Maybe we'll watch half of it or something. I don't know if we'll be able to watch the whole thing. We can watch half of one. And then watch the second half the next time. And watch it from the beginning. Yes, well there's that as well, but I don't know what the copyright situation is for that. I think when it comes to the Sherlock Holmes, I think I might be alright. I think. But I don't want to go anywhere near Monty Python. Although, no, maybe I'll be alright because I did all those Python shorts. Well, they weren't shorts, were they? They were just little tiny things that I did, or we did, back in the beginning, back in the day. My God. That doesn't key in like Zelda did. So that was the thing that I was going to talk about. Yes, maybe I'll do it another time. But I didn't key in the same. Like some things don't, and that's what's interesting about it. With the rearranged furniture and such, some waxing discussed. It was very interesting. That very interesting indeed. For this time. Hey up, I thought it was. Oh right, oh fuck. You just got to keep on it, you just got to always be closing. Faulty Towers. Now I do think that does. Yeah, I think that one is. That's a bastard for copyright. I think that one. I think so. Anyway, I'm gonna have to rethink my strategy on this one, aren't I? Get to this point. I think I need to go down the hammer route with this. So we'll go with this. Right. So I reckon. Oh, maybe that's all right. See about that. I'll try again. Yeah, Faulty Towers. There's only I think there's only one series or two series of that as well. There's so many good ones. Me and Lima are going to do. We're going to do Father Ted, and black books, and there was another one that we said about we want to do, but I'll have a look back on that stream because it was on there that we talked about it. I was on the narcissist stream, so at least I can go back and find out what the fuck I was going on about. That's one of the benefits that I didn't expect. It was cool about doing this, is that you can actually go back and be like, what was it I was fucking saying? It's good. That's good for me. Oh, I did something good. Oh, go away. No, Dave, no. Everyone's dead, Dave. Dave, everyone's dead. Oh my god, I'm already here. Oh, good lord. Oh, see, this is where I'm messing up. So I need to remember to use my hammers. And I'm all good, aren't I? Hopefully. Should have got rid of some of them. Ooh, lovely, lovely. Yes, a heart, a heart. A rarity. Oh, now we're getting all the hearts. Absolute rarity these days, the hearts. What? Oh. Okay. 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 There. Oh. Short bus 3 times and just see who appears. Short bus, 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 short bus. See who turns up. No one. No one. It's just us lot. It's just us 3. What are we going to talk about? What did I say I was going to put on? I was going to put Sherlock Holmes on. Should I do that? Let's have Sherlock Holmes on. If it's still there. This is a really odd time to be doing Fibertwig, to be honest. It's a really strange thing to be doing at this time. What time is it anyway? It's midnight, bloody hell. I'm doing 2 hours on this thing. Goodbye, Fibertwig, for now. I get to do a piece of art. I never did one for the dog. So that's pretty cool. Jeremy Brett Sherlock. The Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes podcast, a podcast devoted to the greatest portrayal of the world's greatest detective. Ooh, I'm going to subscribe to that. The Red-Headed League. Should we have that one on? Why not? It's the first one that comes up. Should we have that on? Look up driver test, turns over car. Oh, for sure. No. Bless him. No, I'm watching this now.